Hi, Jamie. Lovely to meet you. As I would say, you're not only a multi-talented person in real life, but also a man with multiple identities. So for those who haven't seen Stranger Things yet, spoiler alert, meet Henry Van Vecna. So have you gotten used to the fandom, the Vecna fandom that's shaken the Stranger Things universe?
There's parts of it that still baffle me. I'll be honest with you. There's something called the Vecna thirst, which is always baffling and concerning in equal measure. But as far as sort of the reach and how many people love this show and the interactions that I have with people kind of like out and about, like it's amazing. It's so lovely. It feels, I'm very blessed and I feel very lucky to be a part of this show. And it's really nice that I get to meet people and that they share that with me. I actually really enjoy it. It's lovely. It's beautiful.
You made bad look so good that, I mean, your fandom, it's unprecedented. And they actually, you know what they say about you is if you want the perfect villain in iconic popular franchises, Jamie is the man to go.
I'll take that. I'm not sure it's 100% true, but I'll take it.
Awesome. So when they came with you to play Vecna, I mean, he was there in spirit in the first three, series. And in the fourth one, when they came to you to play Vecna, what went on in your mind? How did you read that character? As I'm aware, you had mind maps in your room to prep for Vecna.
Yeah, I did. So the process of getting the job, as I'm sure you've read, was an interesting one because I got given two sets of sides from two different films, first of all, and then I was given one set of sides, dummy sides from the show. And when I put those three things together, I sort of came up with this, I had this sort of 2-day burst of creativity and inspiration where I put up, pictures from the show and then just the world itself and then other characters around it from pop culture or culture in general, and inspiration for me. And then I went to go and meet Matt and Ross and they showed me all the 3D renders and we spoke about it. So I knew this was a person and a man, and I figured out that this person had this really deep resentment and had been sat in this very, very deep resentment for a really, really long time, which is just terribly toxic, really, but also had this human experience as well. And I was very interested as to what that human experience was and how that would build. And I never really asked questions because I knew that would come. I knew that I would receive that almost. So then it was about kind of knowing that there was this, subhuman, externally subhuman being that was filled with resentment, and then the experience that had led that person to become this. And so it was just about basically drawing these lines together and then moving forwards with it. That's how it happened, and how I felt about it was, I mean, I relished the opportunity. I remember going to Barry Gower's studio. Barry is the guy who Barry and his team designed the Vecna suit, and speaking to one of the boys who works there, I think it was Pat, and I was like, I've got to play 3 different people. I've got to present 3 different versions of myself. And he was like, oh, it's an opportunity to show your range. And I was like, yeah, I guess so. So it was a challenge, but a challenge which I was really, really excited to step up to, and go for it. And I just immersed myself in it. I fully immersed myself in it. I bought posters from all these old horror movies. I bought dolls from, from Nightmare on Elm Street and Hellraiser, and had them around my office, and would spend hours kind of watching movies and reading the script and then looking at my hand and feeling this character inside my body. It was great.
Wow, honestly. But were you a fan of the series before they came to you? I mean, no.
Yeah. I loved it. I mean, you know, the first season for me holds a real special place because it felt like when I was watching it, it felt like a bunch of creative people just came together and made something that they loved. And that's what I really enjoy. You know, so often now, not so often now, but there are things that I watch or that I listen to or that I consume that can feel very like manufactured almost. You know, somebody, you know, a bunch of people came up with this idea because they thought it would make them money. Whereas with this show, it always felt like this beautiful idea. It just felt like a beautiful idea with these gorgeous references, and it was shot so beautifully. That was the other thing as well. Like, I remember watching the first season and being like, this is shot so well. This is stunning. Like, it's just visually gorgeous. And as the seasons have progressed, you know, it's been amazing to watch the show grow visually. Like, it's been really, really gorgeous, and to see them, you know, expand the universe. So yes, I was. Short answer, yes.
Awesome. Since you've been there in spirit in the first 3 seasons, I know you can't tell us much about the forthcoming season. As you said, there'll be a whole lot of people meeting a whole lot of other people. But in 2 words, what can we anticipate, depending on how much you can divulge?
My answer to that would be not sure, if that's 2 words. Not sure.
So who do you think would be Vecna's biggest adversary? I mean, his nemesis.
That would be 11. I mean, it would be between 11 and Brenner. But, you know, Brenner's obviously no longer with us, so it would be 11 for sure. Or his parents.
Interesting. And how practical was that suit, I want to ask you?
I mean, in terms of like actually being able to exist in it, not limited practicality. Yeah, it's. Oh no, go on. I was just going to elaborate.
Go on. What were you saying? How practical was it?
It's not practical at all. I mean, you know, normal bodily functions were difficult at best. Let's say that much for you.
I totally get that. And also the fact that you wore your suit in order to voice your character. That must have been really tedious. Can you do a Vecna imitation for us?
You want me to do a Vecna imitation for you now? Not happening. Not happening. Yeah, exactly. I don't have the suit on. Yeah, exactly. It would be terrible.
Okay, well, now going forward, also the fact, you know, the music. I mean, it's like suddenly 80s are the coolest thing now on Spotify. And, you know, even Kate Bush is surprised at how well her track is done. You're a musician too who likes to explore the darker side. Can we expect you composing music for the forthcoming season? Have you contacted the Duffer Brothers?
I would love to contribute something musically and creatively to the show. It would be amazing. I mean, as I was preparing for the show, I started writing a lot more orchestral music. It's just something I love to do as well. And I have sent Matt and Ross some music, some like demos that I've done just to kind of creatively share with them. It's something that I like to do, and my friends like to do with me too. They'll share their latest work. Through, you know, apropos of nothing, you know, not asking for anything, but just to be like, this was created whilst I was making this character. And I've done it before, you know. I worked on a show with Shaker Kapoor and Craig Pierce. And I remember as I was working on the show with Shaker, I started to paint, and I painted this like fire. And I remember sending it to Craig, and Craig's response was, "Are you okay?" So, there's always interesting things that happen as you're creating something. So I don't know. I would love to. If they ever asked, it would be my pleasure.
All right. So, I mean, it's time for me to wrap up, but there are just 2 questions that I have, and that can be. So, I mean, you as an actor and a musician, what is that inspires you? What are you drawn to? And if you were to find yourself in the upside down, what would you do?
I often find myself in the upside down, and I just embrace it. And what is it that inspires me? It's a very good question. I think that all of us are out here in the pursuit of finding truth and beauty in equal measure. And for me, darkness offers a lot of truth. It tends to offer me stillness. And you know, but that's not to say that I'm not also inspired by other pieces of work. So for instance, at the moment, Dante's Inferno is a very interesting bit of literature that I'm using creatively. You know, it's just in my universe right now, and it appeared to me, and I took it. So it's that constant pursuit of truth and beauty. And I think also just like in terms of darkness, just, you know, like letting people know that it's okay. The darkness is okay. It's all right. You know, there's nothing to be afraid of.
Sure. Thank you so much. And from playing a man who haunts down his own family, we will see you in another haunted film. If you can tell me anything about what's going to happen next, what can we see you in next?
Yes, I have a film called True Haunting coming out with Erin Moriarty that's Sony Screen Gems. I'll talk more about that in the future. Yeah.
Thank you so much. A pleasure speaking to you. What would you say to Vecna if you were to come face to face with him?
Take me with you.
All right. Anyways, we are looking forward to the forthcoming season. And thank you so much. And let me tell you, the Vecna fandom is just growing day by day. As many of his hands, it's also growing.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Puja.
Thank you so much. Such a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you.